breaking this hour. Hong Kong authorities have confirmed that the deadly high-rise fire, which claimed the lives of at least 128 people, began on protective netting on the lower floors and spread rapidly through flammable styrofoam boards and bamboo scaffolding. Security Chief Chris Tang has stated that the fire quickly ascended, fueled by burning debris. As of now, 8 individuals have been arrested, including 2 directors from Willpower Architects and 3 senior staff members from Prestige Construction and Engineering. Officials also revealed that the fire alarms were malfunctioning during the incident and promised strict enforcement action. In response to the tragedy, Chinese President Xi Jinping and Hong Kong's Chief Executive John Lee have expressed their condolences, while a full criminal investigation is currently underway. Let's listen in first to Hong Kong's Secretary and Director of Fire.
最初起火嘅位置係宏昌角低層外邊嘅嗰啲嘅圍網，其後咧係由於燃燒咗嗰啲發泡膠板，火勢迅速咧係向上蔓延。 伸延到去多個嘅樓層，並喺短時間內咧係波及咗宏福苑其他6座嘅樓宇。大火咧係引燃咗貼喺嗰啲窗門上邊嘅發泡膠板，令到玻璃爆破，令到火勢咧係急速增強，並且迅速蔓延到咧入到室內。要強調，如果用直升機喺呢個火警裏邊掟水彈。 如果喺個樓宇嘅上空投擲水彈，啲水係唔會係不會係會落入個火場裏邊，只會淋咗去一個大廈。
Joining us now is my colleague Marisha Barve. Marisha, what's the latest that you're picking up?
Well, yes, Kriti. To give you and our viewers more context about the situation, the Wang Fu Court nearly houses around 4,800 residents who are mainly elderly. Now, out of the 8 towers, several are home to senior citizens and they rely on caregivers. Now, when you look at the whole scenario in itself, the cost of their lives was only because of limited mobility, which made the escape nearly impossible. Now, officials revealed that fire alarms were malfunctioning, but the problem goes deeper. When you look at the construction of the building and the project in itself, a very key note that needs to be taken mention of is styrofoam. Now, it is a petroleum-based plastic made from polystyrene, and it's lightweight, full of air pockets, and it is known to ignite at relatively low temperatures. When it burns, it produces thick smoke. In many parts of the world, in fact, the use of styrofoam, and especially notably in the EU, is banned in food packaging. And here, ironically, in a densely populated residential area, construction has been made with styrofoam. Many of the windows were blocked, which made escape nearly impossible, which caused the tragedy in itself. Now, many officials have been arrested under the charges of manslaughter. We are awaiting trial and we are waiting to see how this tragedy transcends and unfolds. And we are genuinely, it's a genuinely unfortunate incident that has transpired, and yes, a lot of condolences to the Wang Fu Court incident that has taken place.
Well, absolutely. For now, thank you, Marisha, for joining us and sharing that with us. And viewers, let's now move on. Indonesia is ramping up its emergency response as devastating floods and landslides continue to hit the island of Sumatra. The country's disaster management agency says aircraft are now being deployed to deliver food and other essential supplies. Let's listen in.
Prioritas pertama, pemulihan akses jalur darat, baik yang saat ini tertimbun longsoran maupun jembatan putus. Kementerian PU sudah mensiagakan alat berat di titik-titik yang sudah dipetakan. Kita harapkan kondisi cuaca mulai membaik hari ini sehingga operasi pemulihan atau pembukaan akses jalan bisa berlangsung optimal. Yang kedua, penyaluran dukungan logistik permakanan dan non permakanan ke masyarakat akan kita optimalkan melalui jalur udara dengan menggunakan 1 pesawat dan 1 heli. Tentu saja ini jika dibutuhkan, Kepala BNPB tadi sudah menyatakan akan menggeser beberapa unit heli lainnya dan pesawat karavan agar benar-benar bisa optimal nantinya dalam mendistribusikan logistik kepada masyarakat terdampak. Ketiga, pemulihan akses komunikasi dan listrik. Kami harapkan PLN dan pengelola jaringan telekomunikasi bisa segera memulihkan akses komunikasi GSM di lokasi terdampak sehingga kebutuhan masyarakat akan saluran komunikasi yang bisa menjangkau kerabat di daerah terdampak bisa benar-benar kita pulihkan dalam 1-2 hari ini.
And in Aceh province, streets in Pidijaya are coated in thick mud. Homes and businesses have suffered widespread damage and many vehicles remain completely submerged. Officials say teams are working to reach isolated areas as conditions on the ground continue to hamper search efforts. And moving on, the International Criminal Court has rejected a request by former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte to be released from detention ahead of his trial on crimes against humanity. Duterte faces charges related to his controversial war on drugs, which resulted in numerous deaths across the Philippines. Now, families of some of the victims followed the hearing via video link and erupted in cheers and applause when the court announced its verdict. Let's listen into what some of them had to say.
Nung Friday pa lang na nag-meeting tayo, hindi na ako nakatulog. Dahil talagang pinagdadasal ko na sa atin papanig ang hustisya. At sa wakas, natupad naman. At pinanalangin ko talaga na sana ito yung magandang regalo dahil magbe-birthday nga si Daboy, 33 si Daboy bukas.
Napakahalaga po sa amin ng gabing ito at we appreciate the support of the judges na i-reject yung appeal ni Duterte dahil wala naman talagang grounds para palayain siya. Hindi siya karapat-dapat na makalaya.
Parang, kumbaga, nabunutan kami ng isang tinik sa aming dibdib. Pero siyempre, mahaba pa rin talaga yung laban. Pero at least, di ba, nagkaroon na kami ng one po.
And moving on, Ukrainian President Zelensky has announced that Ukrainian and US delegation will meet this week to discuss a formula for peace and security guarantees for Kyiv based on talks held in Geneva. In this nightly video address, Zelensky said that there will be additional discussions next week, including more dialogue. However, he did not provide specific details about the formula or the outcomes of these talks. The announcement comes as both countries look to strengthen their efforts to address the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. Listen in.
Наша команда разом з американськими представниками вже на цьому тижні, наприкінці тижня, продовжить наближати пункти, які є у нас за результатами Женеви, до такої форми, яка виведе на дорогу до миру і гарантій безпеки. Буде зустріч делегацій. Українська делегація буде добре підготовлена та налаштована на предметну роботу. Сьогодні відбулася важлива зустріч санкційних координаторів європейських держав. І якщо Путін не хоче зупиняти, санкції не будуть зупинятись. Пріоритети зрозумілі – бити по російській нафті, по російській технологічній складовій, по їхнім фінансам, по їхнім активам, які працюють на російську воєнну машину. Світ нам допомагатиме. Я дякую кожному, хто тисне зараз на агресора, хто захищає Україну від тиску. Ми це дуже цінуємо і бачимо кожне таке зусилля. Наступного тижня будуть важливі перемовини не тільки у нашої делегації, а й у мене. І ми готуємо твердий ґрунт для таких перемовин. Україна стоятиме на ногах міцно. Завжди стоятиме. Я дякую всім, хто нам допомагає. Я дякую кожному, хто захищає Україну як себе особисто.
Joining us now is my colleague Marsha Barre. Marsha, what more can you tell us on this?
Well, yes, Kriti. To dissect the situation for you and the viewers, let's dissect it into Russia's front and Ukraine's front. Now, Russian President Putin has said that the US plan to end the war in Ukraine could form a basis of the agreement, but he constantly reiterated that Russia may seize more territory if Ukraine does not back up or withdraw. Now, Putin confirmed that the US delegation, which is led by the Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, is expected to meet in Moscow early next week for serious discussions. Now, what that could actually transcend into, according to Putin, is that the war will only end if Ukrainian troops leave the territories that Russia has occupied. Otherwise, Russia will use military force, which is that they will advance into Ukraine with more force. Now, in all of this, what is Ukraine's response? President Zelensky, on the other hand, has said that the Ukraine's delegation will meet US officials for further discussions to end the war and to discuss points from Geneva. Now, this is an agreement that has been going on. The ceasefire agreement, which is an elaborate 28-point agreement, clearly states many such points which were spoken in Geneva. Now, to mention the territorial context of it all, Russia occupies roughly 20% of Ukraine's territory, but Kyiv and European allies view territorial concessions as a red line. That is, that they will not stand by Russia if territorial concessions are to be made. The next steps that we would await is that Putin awaits Witkoff's visit to discuss the revised plan, but stressed that it is too early to mention if it's an agreement or if it's not. So yes, we are eagerly waiting. If the ceasefire would really would instate in the first place, and if it would stay the same without any violations or breach in the ceasefire agreement. So yes, Kriti, that for you is what's happening on both Ukraine and Russia's front.
All right, thank you, Marsha, for joining us and sharing that input with us from the newsroom. And with that, viewers, let's move on now.